Hey YouTube, one from the Vault series. Decided to go and a wee look, see what kind of guitar I hadn't seen for ages. That doesn't get what it deserves. It really doesn't. This is in 1983, I think I remember correctly. Yamaha sc400. They often say so on the truss rod cover, but I think that's a replacement truss rod cover because it doesn't say sc300 on it. You hear SC being termed a super combinator. It stands for single coil. But super combinator. There we go. Yeah, so as far as I know, these are were like a Europe only guitar. It's sort of, you can see it sort of looking like the old Yamaha SGVs, kind of, sort of hinted towards. So you've got the samurai headstock. Yeah, it's awesome. Three single coil pickups, which are they've got they've got pickup rings, as you can see. Volume, tone. I added this switch because this is a set neck guitar. So although it looks really odd, it's really, the bottom half's just a Strat. It basically is a Strat, but it doesn't really feel like one. These pickups, so in this range, there is a cheaper one, which I think were Taiwanese, which has got a scratch plate and stuff, which is roughly this shape. But there's really only two in this range, the Japanese ones, which is this one, which is a 400, and there's a 600, which it's through neck. It's got a carve, like a chamfer on the arm here, which I don't like because this is a veneer on the top. It's like a solid mahogany body in the back, but it's got like an ash veneer on it. When you cut it, like you do with old, when you ever see old Strats, you don't see it as much very often anymore. But you used to get people who'd, I'll make my Strat a natural one, so they chip all the paint off, and then they realise that it's plywood because when you get to this bit here, it's just layers of ply. That kind of happens with the 600 version of this. The 600 version's also got a coil tap. So this is the only guitar I've ever owned that's got a coil tap in it. A coil tap not being a coil split. A coil split is, yeah, even if you look up magazines, or I think Gibson still call it a coil tap, and it's not. It's a coil split. It's a coil split is you've got a humbucker, you cancel out one of the things, you get a single coil, so you're splitting the pickup. And a tap is, if you imagine, like a pickup's just a magnet with a wire wrapped around it. I think it's 10,000 times. So basically, if you imagine wrapping around it 6,000 times, and then putting a wee tab on, and then going around the other 4,000, so you end up with two outputs. One of them being the full amount of the pickup, and the other one being only using 2/3 of the pickup. David Schechter, the guy who invented Schecter's, actually he does pickups that are three-way tapped. So you get like, he's got three outputs on it. So basically, you could go sort of halfway through the pickup, and if you use that output like from a switch, you get like a sort of a really weak single coil pickup. The middle one is like a normal single coil, and then the top one is a really, really, really heavy single coil. So this has, as stock, comes with, only runs at full whack. So they're almost P90 level pickups. These they're big, fat single coils, but they've also got this tap thing in them. Well, the pickups have a tap feature. They've got the extra tab on them. I was hoping my Ibanez Blazer had them because I had a shot of an Ibanez Blazer when I decided I wanted one that had a coil tap in it, and it was Super 6 tap pickups. And I got a Blazer, which was the one model below. It was the top of the range. That's the second top of the range one, and it's got Super 6 pickups. So I thought, oh, it's going to be like this one. I can go in and add a wee switch and then get. No, so that's the one thing I would change about my Blazer. I want the Super tap because the tap thing just sounds great. I'll show you that in a minute. Hence why I like low output pickups rather than high output pickups. Very obvious when you've got a switch that switches between the two. Also, I've been told that because I did this with a modern switch back then, you didn't get like a 9-pole switch. So when you hit the tap switch, it only split the neck and the bridge pickup. So the middle pickup stayed at full strength, whereas I put a 3-way tap in. So mine actually, when you hit that switch, they all go down to tap mode, vintage mode, whatever you want to call it, or they're all power mode. Yeah, it's also got an interesting bridge, this one. There's a thing on it, and it's like, the idea of it sustain and stuff. You want the strings going through the body for sustain, not according to the blurb for this bridge, which is basically you want as little change of direction as well. So it's high mass, it weighs a ton, but the strings is top loaded, so the strings kind of just go oh and away rather than having to go through a 90-degree bend. Which again, when you read up on these things, you go, well, Yeah, maybe having the string straight is better than having it going along then going through the body at a 90-degree angle. Don't know. But I mean, that's just a guitar no one's ever seen before, really. Apart from if you've watched my videos. I don't know when the last time I had this out was. Yamaha branded tuners. It's got a funny serial number. It goes back to, if you look up some old Yamahas, it's like they use some mad Japanese emperor system, which seems a bit silly, but I mean, fair enough. I'm sure if you know, I don't want to brutalise the names or something like that, but it's something to do with whatever dynasty it is, plus, so you can work it out, you get a number, and then you subtract 300 from it or something like that, and you end up with the year. Actually, so initial, when you're playing it, kind of feels a bit like an Explorer or a Thunderbird because you've got nothing here. There's no top horn, so it kind of has that. The neck feels very long. Also, it's quite a long headstock and bent back, so it's got a bit of Firebirdiness going on about it somewhere. But just a genuinely different feel, and because it, as I said, with the 600 model has this chamfer on it, which I've never played, but you kind of notice this being feeling a bit more Telecastery because you've got like this, rather than having it smoothed off, you've got like a tight Telecaster type edge on it. Very belly contour on there as well. Yeah, so pickups. And it just sounds flipping amazing, doesn't it? So that's position 2. So this is position 1. So just the bridge pickup. And I think that's vintage mode, so if I put it into full power mode, then that just tells you exactly what a coil split does. So you've got, which are much more powerful and probably better for playing Judas Priest or using the rat pedal. But when you split it, you get this jangle. Actually, what I've never done, so this will be a worldwide exclusive. I wonder what it taps down to. I mean, I know that there's an awful lot more to it than just what the ohms meter reading is on the pickup. Oh, these are hot, these are 8K, and these are 9K and stuff. There's more to it than that because it depends on what kind of magnet and what kind of wire and all that. Basically, what that tells you is how much wire is wrapped around it. It doesn't really give an indication. It sort of can, but it's not the be all and end all of how to test these things. Right, what I need is another wee lead. Now, I saw one earlier. How did I do with it? No, I'll just take it out, right. So, set this to 20k. So, some of my favourite single coil pickups, which I actually had to check, because Mr. White told me the ones that are in the RG 140 are like 3.9k. I think I test them, they are, but so I'm expecting something not far off that for these. So can I put that somewhere where you can see it? I can, but not using. No, I can't. So I'll just have to test it. So the bridge pickup, full bung, full tone, in there is coming in at 6.1, which is quite a hot for a bridge pickup. 5.99, 6.13, and if I click the switch, it goes up to 8.99. So I mean, I'm knocking it down to, I mean, that's, it's vibrating all over the place. It's just doing whatever it wants. Is the battery running out in this thing? It does keep telling me the battery's running out. So, bridge pickup, switch up, you get it's now deciding to give me nothing. What have I touched two together? Yeah, you got to change your battery in your multimeter sometimes. Give it another go, turn it off and turn it on again, IT crowd style. So I think because it's running out of battery, it's just giving out gibberish. Yeah. Oh, it seems to have set. No. No, it's just going mental. I think it's not going to be any different with the neck pickup. Yeah, okay, so what we've deciphered there is I need a new battery for my multimeter, because it's just giving out gibberish readings. Yeah. Well, there's that then. So there's a wee bit of pointlessness for you. Maybe I did it in one of my other videos. I can't remember. But basically they're tap pickups. It probably sounds good with a bit of rat pedal on it. Vintage modes. Definitely when you've got it, and I'm using the neck pickup now by the way, definitely when you've got it down the way when it's on full power, it is a bit more metal. Single coil, tapped. That's it. I mean, he's sounding a bit more P90ish. That's been more P90 sound. So, being a Strat, positions 2 and 4. That's a much more normal sound. But then super vintage. Much more character. Position 4, vintage. More harder. I wish you get more tappable pickups. Seymour Duncan quarter pounders for a Telecaster are tappable. To be honest, if I had to have one of the two sounds, I would have the vintage sound. I'd have the tapped one. I'm just getting so disappointed now that my Blazer doesn't have the tap thing, because when I was doing the video, if you look at my videos, I did do a video when I was a candy apple red Blazer in for a repair, and that's why I had to have one. Not that I'm complaining, I paid 25 quid for mine rather than like 400 or 500 quid like it should have been. So, not complaining, but still complaining. But if anyone's got a set of Super Tap 6s, I'll swap them for DiMarzio Evos or something like that. More my thing. get some bass on. No, the wee mid bass has to be done. Pedal board, I put a phaser and a chorus pedal. I may have a wee go at some of them. I don't like either of them. Currently. Chorus. And fuzz. No phaser. I like my rat pedal. But definitely I'm swaying towards doesn't sound like a normal Strat when you've got it on power mode. That's more Strat. A lot of clarity involved. I'm able to play actual full chords without them just fuzzing out. You know? I don't think I'm playing this particularly well, but I think this might be one of the best sounding guitars I've ever heard. It's got so much ugh to it. I'm sure I looked at this and I'm going to do the test. I don't think I've got a reverse wind middle pickup, otherwise I would consider putting a megabucker switch in this. It's not attached to that one, that is. Yeah, all these pickups are the same way round as this pickup, which means I can't do my cascading megabucker, because that would, I reckon that would sound superb, and the coil split would still work. The coil tap would still work if I did that, but hey. So one of the great lost guitars, I mean, I don't think they're worth that much money. But if you can find one, I don't think they're worth that much money, which is a shame, because it kind of should be. It's kind of one of those as good as a guitar can be sort of thing. Anything you don't like about it, it's likely to be a design choice. Like, oh, I'd rather have a trem. Well, it doesn't, it's hardtail. Well, which is fine. I mean, it balances really well. Obviously, it's Japanese, so the build quality is just through the roof as per. I actually bought this because Peter Capaldi, who was Doctor Who at the time, I thought he was cool. He's from Bishopbriggs, which was only a couple of miles away from here, and I thought he was a pretty cool doctor. And then one of the things they were in, he disappeared, and they found him in like ancient Rome, in a gladiators arena, and he came out on top of a tank, playing Pretty Woman on an SG5 or an SG5, a reissue of one, which is, when you actually look at it, it's not actually that similar to this. It does have the same headstock. The shape's not the same, but it's got a very similar vibe. It's a bit more plasticky Stratocaster looking. This is a bit more coffee table era. But what a stunning guitar. SC400. And again, it's like, even there, it's like, but just take away that. It gives it such an airy. And it's not getting J-packs, it's too pretty. It's just the way you can hear all the notes in between. All the notes in a chord. Okay, it's still rocking and stuff, but it just doesn't seem to be that. It doesn't have the fuzz in it. No matter how much rat pedal I use. Even in that. This might actually make it into one of my top 10. I did a while when I was doing my top 10 ever guitars. I think I did more than 10, but maybe just make that one of these. I have to make sure it's not actually in it. I do actually remember doing a top 10 on the Washburn Falcon, and then putting it into a playlist, and then realising the last one I did was the same guitar. So, a weird one. What do you think? Could you rock it? Maybe a wee bit like it looks a wee bit like a Mosrite as well. Maybe just because it's got a sort of certain upside down look about it. If you did it that way, that doesn't look right that way either. That still looks upside down, but it definitely has a something funny. But I think looking at it, is it not just? It kind of is. If you kind of hide that bit, and then hide that. Yeah, it's just a Strat in it. You see that bit? It's only because that kind of comes back the way. If that was maybe a bit more like that, it would just be a Strat with a slightly funny bit on it. Rock on!